Hey, welcome back to Heartstrings Podcast.
Welcome.
You welcoming me?
Welcoming you.
Yes, thank you.
And
welcome.
to everybody else, too.
Yes, welcome everybody. We are back with another episode of Heartstrings Podcast, where we are fine-tuning the strings of life. And we definitely have been fine-tuning them, haven't we?
Glad to be back. And
Yeah.
if you are hearing the sounds of our voices right now,
Yes.
that means that you have survived the 2024 emergence of the cicadas. Congratulations.
Congratulations, everyone.
I did warn you guys. I did warn them.
You did, and everybody
They
didn't
weren't
get
ready.
them. Everybody did not get them.
How is that possible? I don't know. It's like they had a license only in the state of Illinois, but right across the border, there was nothing. At least in the suburbs.
Well, congratulations, everybody.
We made it. It is July, so I mean there might be a few out there, but they're probably not attacking you as like they were back in the early June or May. We made it. What, babe?
I just don't want to talk about them anymore ever. And you just happen to want to bring them up all the time.
Okay.
I just don't like them.
I know.
The nightmare of them, I don't want to talk
deal
about
with
them.
them twice in your life.
Twice for weeks. But anyway, moving on.
Did you get any on your neck?
Wes,
All right.
Moving on.
Move on, babe. I moved on.
All right, everybody. Well, I know that one of the things that I do all the time with coaching people, and even when we're doing marriage coaching, is we start off with wins and challenges. And I thought it'd be nice for us to start off with some of our wins in this season. It's like third quarter of 2024, and I thought it'd be good for us to do some reflecting on some of the things that are wins for us, celebrating our victories. And then we can talk into the challenges. So what are some of your wins, Wes?
No, you got to go first, babe.
Why?
Because I have a minute to think. I don't know.
Oh, my gosh. Well,
My life has been pretty just kind of
that's not true.
coasting along.
Okay, so how about this?
Yes.
I'm going to
Tell me
choose
what
your
my win
wins,
is.
and then you choose mine. There we go. All right, so first of all, one of the things has been you've been pretty busy doing electrical work. And I think that that's only a win because it has brought surplus plus in our house. So I'm very grateful for that. And it's like you can never, the minute you sit down, there's another job that pops up. Wes is an electrician by trade. He is retired from his career job. But now you've kind of launched your business and it's like growing. And if you don't slow down, you won't ever slow down. So that's a win.
Well, we about to shift anyway.
Okay, so we are shifting, but that's a win because we've set some goals and they're starting to come into fruition, right?
There'll be a win when they're in fruition.
They're in fruition when you have already deposited the seed. And I just want to say that because sometimes people think that you have to wait till it shows up. And I know you're a skeptic until actually things show up. But the truth is that if you never have vision for something that you can see in the future or you can prophesy to or you can speak to, guess what happens? It just remains an idea.
True. I wouldn't call it a skeptic. I just am not one to count my chickens before they hatch. So,
but as long
that's just really through things that have like, okay, this is going to happen, and then it doesn't. I'm like, no, you know what? I want to count that money in the bank when it hits the bank.
Money in the bank is
not
one
when
thing.
They say. I'm just giving an example, not necessarily just money, but anything. When it gets there, that is a celebration, a win, a testimony, and all the above. Saying or somebody saying is going to be there, that doesn't float my boat. It just gives me a little hope.
Does it give you a little hope?
It's not a win until it's won. I didn't win this race.
I look at stuff different.
See, I can't win the race until I run it and finish it.
Well,
and can hold up a trophy.
But here's the thing is that if you started the race, and that's my motto anyway, if you started a business.
Yes, go ahead.
If you had an idea and it was an idea and it kicked off, but the idea kicked off, but it didn't last but maybe a week. It still had purpose in that week. It's still a win. That's my motto. That's the way I look at things, and I have to look at them that way because I can mention all the disappointments that have taken place, but that's why I put my money to the future. I set the vision in place. I speak it out, and it's happened for us over and over again. I know some things that don't work out. Well, probably I just feel like weren't the will of God.
There's a lot of things that didn't work out like we had planned.
Okay.
A lot more successes.
So I want to talk about
failures.
the wins.
Right.
Okay. So that's one win. We have some things.
Win?
The fact that we have some things in motion.
Add that in your category.
It's not a win for you.
Not until it is motioned.
We disagree.
Yeah, we said that.
Yeah. Okay.
What else?
You're a bubble burster right now. You burst my bubble. Okay. What else is a win, you all? See, my bubble has been burst. Do y'all know that and this is just the truth, is that you don't have to see things my way, but I do feel like you should say, that's encouraging, Neesha, that you do encourage me sometimes. I'm going to just stop right there. What's a win for me?
No, you have been like super busy. I think that a lot of things that you planned and started out have come to pass. Just with all the things and the pieces of wood that you have in all the fires. So I think that's it.
Okay. Well, let me just say
that's not a win?
I think it is a win. I just think that it speaks to what I'm talking about.
You said for you, babe.
I know you're right. I guess I want you to feel like you're a winner because I'm working so hard to help us to win.
Okay. Winner, chicken dinner.
Anyway, all right. Well, that's kind of like, ugh. I'm frustrated with that. But
which part?
Okay. I'm frustrated
that I don't consider it a win.
Let me just be honest. And this is our banter that's kind of weird, but I want to say that it's been a tough season of just probably grieving the yesterday. So that's been a challenge for me because, I haven't been in the salon in a while, and I was sharing that when I go over there, I kind of grieve. And I didn't realize that I was grieving a space of community, even though I am busy doing things and working in an area of recovery for people and giving people hope. I call myself a hope dealer and all of that. But the way of the world has been virtual meetings for the most part, and it's very difficult to sit behind a screen some days 6 to 7 hours that I'm still sitting there behind meetings, and it's not a community like it was at the salon. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so that has been a challenge for me. And then the people that everybody's in a different space and in a different season. And so although I've seen many wins with coaching business and working a recovery program and providing hope for others in regards to the areas of recovery, and us planning our 25th anniversary for having a marriage getaway, all those things are so exciting, but sometimes it can still feel very lonely. And I've realized I had to come to terms with it's a grieving season from being behind the chair and talking to people every day and scheduling appointments and communicating with a community as opposed to just a one-on-one or behind the screen. So that's been my thing. And
let me ask a question about that. When you were actually working in a salon, do you feel like every day, multiple times throughout the day, there were wins? Every time you would make somebody and transform them.
Absolutely.
Win,
Absolutely.
win.
Absolutely.
And when you don't see that every day and you're not fulfilled.
Come on, preach, brother.
Hour upon hour.
Mm-hmm.
That takes a toll on you because now your wins went from every hour to once every other week, once a month.
Yeah.
Do you think?
No, I don't think I know that it was an instant gratification. It was an instant gratification of watching the transformation. Okay? And it's not so easy anymore. And it can be challenging. Yeah. That is a whole thing because I like to see movement. I like to see growth. I like to see action. I like to see transforming. And when the client will sit in my chair, they come in one way, they walk out the next within an hour. And that was a benefit. And I guess it wasn't so much as, oh, Neesha, my hair is just so great. It's so cute. As much as it is the gratification of knowing that I did the best of what I could provide for people. And it was a good thing.
I concur.
So
I'm going to tell you why.
Why?
So if I'm doing a job, electrical job, and probably after day 7, I am sick of this job because I feel like I'm just worked, and man, when I'm gonna get done with this thing, and and then finally when it's all done, and even to the point where after they put up the drywall and paint and put in all the furniture, cabinets, or whatever project I'm working on, then I can see some success, and then it's a win-win. But up until then, man, it's just a bunch of pipe, wires. Doesn't look like anything. I mean, I could see it because I'm the one doing it. I could see the plan, how it's going to look once they get a ceiling and some walls up. But, man, after day 7, I need to move on. Which is one reason why certain jobs I was like, no, that's not something I want to be bothered with because that's going to take like 3-4 weeks, a month. I'm like, I don't know if I have the whatever to want to do that right now. Although it's changing. It's changing. I'm ready for some big projects. I got some good guys. I do. I got some good guys who I know I can just be like, all right, I need you guys to go in here and do A, B, C, and D. And every day I can check on that. It's not just me in there by myself. I think I work better with people, with a partner when I'm working. Working by myself, unless it's a small job, like I'm going to get in there and get out that day or troubleshooting something, I enjoy working with somebody. I work a little better, a little faster, but that's just me. So I understand the win part of that.
And that right there, you just talked about working with community. You just talked about getting instant gratification, instant in many forms. But sometimes God has us walk through processes, and the processes are not always easy. Just like if I was still working from behind the chair as a stylist, every process is not going to be the same. Every client's head, everything is customized. And I think that the seasons that we go through are customized to what we need to make us grow. And in our theme, fine tuning the things of life, I just feel like when a piano is off tune or off key, or when you have to tune a guitar or tune an instrument, until it's tuned, it sounds off. It sounds crazy. And I'm sure that you have experienced some of my offness, which we were talking about earlier, about how let's talk about that for a minute.
I haven't experienced that. I don't know.
Some of our offness, my offness in regards to self-examination. And we wrote a book called Reboot Your Marriage, and I just want to talk about that a little bit, is that I was sharing that in the book, majority of the book, I am sharing my transparency of how I've overcome situations or how I, walk through those journeys. And I feel like God has taken me through another reboot. And but sometimes I feel like you don't ever go through a reboot.
Why do you say that first? Before I answer, why do you say that?
I say that only because I feel like when God is taking you through a reboot or a recharge or a restore or a refresh or a renew, it's identifying those areas where you need to, oh, this is a virus right here, or this is an area you need strength, or this is an area that, needs to shift and change because it keeps showing up the same way. It's time to reboot, recharge, do something different, right? And so I'm always seeking for that space. And sometimes it feels like the ball's always, the magnifying glasses are always on me. That's just a feeling. I didn't say you make me feel that way. I'm just saying that I feel like I'm always working on Neesha forever.
So what is it you want to know about me?
Well, I just want to know,
So, reboot me. I am always reflecting and adjusting, trying to figure out a better way to say, do, act, respond. Should I respond at all? the time. That's what I do. I don't announce it. I don't make a book about it. Well, we did make a book
Okay,
about
so
it.
let me just
I
say
don't
this.
make a story about it.
You're speaking in regards to responding to other people. I'm speaking in
No.
regards to
Okay.
life in general. Like, what areas do you need to work on yourself that God is saying rebooting? Oh, really? Okay. God is showing you some areas. What are they?
That's what I just said, babe.
I'd love to know.
I don't. Whatever they may be, babe. I don't.
Well,
I don't have a specific right this second.
okay. So, what are your challenges? We asked this question in the book, which let me just say this: we ask questions that leave stuff open ended. Or should I say, I ask questions that leave stuff open ended for you to kind of.
No, your questions, they're not open ended. They are very reflective and thought provoking. So what kind of answer? Now, here's where I've always said. So, you remember in English class or literature or whatever, and you would read something, and then there'd be some word questions, not about the facts of the story, but some word questions about why do you think Johnny responded the way he. I suck at that because I am not a reflective thought. Like, I don't know why Johnny did that, And I would just most of my answers would be really short, one answer, but you'd write a soliloquy.
I sure will. But it just came to me. And it probably has come to me over and over again and I forget. But the truth is that probably the reason you're getting picked on so much is because I used to be able to have these kind of conversations of reflection with clients. And the reason I'm asking you to look deeper into things, and the reason I'm asking you to pull out a few soliloquies is because I'm used to that type of communication.
From who?
From clients, from sisters, from friends. And like I said, I'll go back to saying,
women.
Yeah, from women, camaraderie, yeah. But the truth is that it's been a quiet season. And the other thing is that because other people have so much going on, I feel like there's a fine tuning in life right now. You know what I mean? It comes and goes. And I feel like just like the cicadas, it was a horrible, ugly cicada season. But guess what? Now we're starting to see a little bit of the rain and the sunshine and just saying, okay, now things are being washed away. And, I am feeling that way. But, it's frustrating for me. And it's been frustrating in our communication because of that. How about this? It's been frustrating in my communication. I'm learning to say my, I, me, not he.
I think I know. Well, I don't think. So one of the things that I work on with my communication is...
With me?
Well, yeah, mainly. But, I mean, you're not the only victim to it. But, yeah.
Oh, wow.
is the way I respond. It can be kind of short, direct. But that's the way I am. And I understand that I don't always have to be like that. I think even with my mom and the stage that she's in, I had to retrain my brain to be really patient because she's getting forgetful in these days. So what is my point in reminding her that she said that, did that, we did that, or I said that already? What is the point of saying that again? I just say, okay, yes, Mom, okay. So I'm learning the patience in those areas with other people. And I absolutely try my best at home to think about it, not say it a different way, and not just respond, so I try.
Things that may seem so simplistic to you, and I'm sure this happens with a lot of couples, seem like such a common sense thing for you, may be very complex for others. And things that may be so complex for others, complex for you, may seem so simple to others. And that's where we different. And you always say that God made us different. And if he didn't make us different, what fun is that being married to yourself, right?
Correct.
So, but learning how to dance after almost 36 years, learn a new dance, a retired dance, a hormonal dance, a second time around, because even though you don't say it, there's some goals that we've set for ourselves, and I'm sure others have set them too, where you're looking like this should be like this by now, this should be like this, we're going to make this happen. And sometimes it's frustrating. It's frustrating. The process is frustrating, even though it appears that you like the process, but you really don't sometimes. You don't. You don't.
Which process are you referring to?
See, there you go. See, I'm taking everything and putting it in one big huge pot, and you're like, which process are you talking about?
I reject the process. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Explain.
You got a little something on your lip. The process of like we said, I'm the visionary. Mm-hmm. I'm the one that says, oh, we've already got this ball rolling with, resetting some future goals for us and to get some financial things in order. I'm the person that's been making the phone calls, checking the emails, making sure the credit is okay, this, that, and the other, talking, communicating, finding the this, that, and the other. And you're like, until it happens, nothing has happened. But there's a lot of things that have happened to make that next step happen. And so that's what I'm saying. It's like the process. I've worked a lot of the process, and you're like, that's not a win until it happens. You see what I mean?
No, I don't. And here's why I say that. Because when I asked you what process you're referring to, that if that's the process you're talking about, I understand that. I thought you were talking about some other type of process. But you don't see that as a win. So what words did you use when you were saying that? You remember? Mm-mm. I forgot that fast myself. But it was like the way you worded it, I was like, that's not what I said. I didn't say it like that. I didn't say that all the steps that you do during that process are nothing and they're not wins. I said, until I reach the goal that I wanted to reach, it's not a win yet. That's what I said. So here's what I'm saying. If I'm in the Olympics, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm training and I'm running and in the weight room, got my diet going. Those are just preparations that you do so that when you run that race or get on that track, you can win that medal.
Okay.
And if we haven't run the race, what did you win so far?
My God, today. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's a case in point of where people look at things differently. Because I promise you, I feel like if you got up the gall to say, I'm going to be in the Olympics, mm-hmm. You've set a goal. No, you may not be the top of the winner, but you still won. Because why? You got up, you did the training, you did the exercise, you did what it took. You're in a better shape than you were in when you first started. You know what I mean? You got around people that were of the same mindset, of the same goals. No, you may not have won yet, but you haven't won the whole Olympics, like the lead, but it doesn't mean you haven't won. And I have to look at things like that, Wes, because if I didn't, we'd be still sitting in on 7006 South Indy. No, on 1526.
So why get mad at me about it?
I'm not mad at you. I just think we look at stuff different. And maybe that's the thing about why husbands and wives really struggle sometimes, because they don't see things the same way and they don't have compassion for the way each other sees things. I know how you feel, because I know without a shadow of a doubt, if the money is not in the bank, I'm married to somebody that says it's not going to happen until it's there. Then let me celebrate it when I see it. But I am kind of like a faith mover. Not saying you're not, but my faith is a little different, because if I even get a little glimpse of hope, I feel like I will keep speaking that until, and you always say that, I'm good to the last drop. Maxwell House. I'm the last drop is, if it's still a little last drop in there, I'm going to take that little drop and say, man, this is a great cup of coffee. You don't find that funny?
Yeah, it's hilarious.
All right. Well, I just want, how would you express to couples just what our banter and our dialogue was right now? How would you say something to couples about what would you give advice in terms of that? Like it seems like a frickin' frack or a disagreement or a different way of looking at things. What would you say?
I would say back exactly what I'm going to say to you right now. Okay, babe.
Oh, so that's your professional husband?
It is,
That's
because
your professional husband comment.
If that's what you think a win is, that's okay. If I don't think it's a win until we have won, or whatever I set out to do is completed, that's okay.
Well,
we don't have to argue about it. We don't have to be mad about it. It's not going to make or break us. It's not going to divide us up. We're not going to be seeking out different lawyers because everything you do is a win. And I say, when I won, I won.
Okay, but do you think it could be a breakdown in communication, a barrier about the way the other person feels?
Not if you talked about it. Now, if you haven't talked about it, that's an issue. But we've talked about it. This is not our first conversation about wins. We have them all the time.
We do?
I do.
Okay.
You know why I do? Because I've heard you get really, really, really excited about a program or something that's going to come, and this is going to happen when that program, and you are excited as if we have received what you were excited about. And I'm like, that sounds really great, babe. I'm excited for it. I said, but I'll be really excited once it happens. Because there have been quite a few occasions where we talked and we happed and prayed and were happy about whatever it was, and it never came. Correct? So that's just, it's not a big deal.
I think it's a big deal, but
okay.
I will say that I don't like when you do that. That's patronizing, and you hate patronizing.
I am so not patronizing. I'm serious when I say okay. Here's what you have to learn, and this is for married couples or anybody in a relationship. When people say you can agree to disagree, that is the truth. We don't have to agree on this. It's not a major decision in marriage. We're not buying anything. It's just your opinion on what you think is and my opinion on this. And if we never, ever agree, how would that affect us? Tell me. On that subject right there.
Well,
how would that affect us?
Well, I think that it would just, for a person that needs affirmation about the work that they are doing to set the goal.
Affirmation has nothing to do with wins. I can affirm you, telling you a great job, appreciate you, thank you, all day long on every single step. Every time you say, I called so-and-so, oh, babe, thanks, babe, that's a good job, thank you, appreciate that. That was a lot of work. I understand about being on the phone with people and whatever the compliment may be. I can do that every single step. So what I'm saying, you don't have to miss out on that just because the final product is not in place.
Okay, well,
so now that was patronizing.
No, it's processing. Which
yeah,
I'm processing it. Like I could go on and on and on. This is a conversation that me and Wes could have all the time, all day long, because I think that it's so important that couples hear each other and hear the heart of the matter, and not necessarily, like we said, you don't have to agree. You can agree to disagree, but do you know my heart? Have you listened with your whole heart and not just with your ears? And so when I say I'm processing, I'm trying to say, and I don't know why I would choose to process on heartstrings, but that's where we really fine-tune the strings of life, right?
Well, fine-tune this part. Here's what I think. You can disagree. I think that what you're looking for is not necessarily for me to agree that it's a win, but you are doing exactly what you said, and you're looking for some affirmation and some encouragement along the way, which to me has nothing to do with whether you win or not. That's just, if whatever we're doing completely fails, you're still going to get affirmation and an A for effort and all of that goes along with it. And if it never happens, you should get that affirmation.
Okay, yes, but that's not the way it works out. The bottom line is that there was something with the taxes that we talked about that I was supposed to get, and someone had made a promise. Well, we got a letter from the IRS saying that was not going to happen, right? So you said, see, that's why I don't count my chickens for the eggs hatch. That's why I don't da-da-da-da-da. And I guess there's a little knower inside me called the Holy Spirit that usually lets me know when something's going to work out and something's not going to work out. So I think my biggest letdowns are not really letdowns if I really listen to the Holy Spirit and know. And I kind of never felt like that one. There's a couple of things that we had to do that did work out. But I think that this one, I said, oh, well, maybe I really think this probably is not going to be the one. And I usually know, right? So I'm saying that to say that that's not a biggest letdown. But I'm saying that to say is that I made an effort to try. And I think that coming from a person who, where people's eye view may look and say, they're very successful, she's very successful, but people don't really know. You have to feel successful. I don't care if the world sings your praise. The affirming part is that you know how hard you worked. Or the affirming part is to know that you have done all you can. And some people need pats on the back. I don't feel like I need a pat on the back, but I feel like I need the confidence in knowing that, hey, I did all I could and this worked out. However, I don't need the Debbie Downers or someone to come along and be a killjoy like you said I used to be. A killjoy to kill the joy in while we're walking through the process. Because I can't see it. It's a perfect example, the kitchen, our old kitchen. I did not want that kitchen done while I like the show While You Were Out. I like to be out and come back in and it's complete. But if I have to walk through the process, I need to see something completed. I need to see something to say, hey, Neesha, tomorrow they're going to install the plumbing, or tomorrow the floor will be in by this date. I need goals. Oh, that's exciting. Okay, I can handle this mess another day. You understand what I'm saying? Like I that's the way I feel. And I feel that way about life in general. It's like if there are storms coming, as long as I can say, hey, praise you, Lord, Lord willing, we'll have another day tomorrow to start over. I think morning by morning, new mercies I see is a whole real thing for me. And if someone else is not seeing that morning with me, especially my best friend, then it's a little challenging. And it causes me to get a little down in the dumps, to be honest with you. I went on a whole spiel and you're going to say, okay. All right, go ahead.
Oh, what do you want me to say, babe?
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Shauna told me when I say, do you understand what I'm saying, is usually a sign that it's a lack of confidence. Do you understand what I'm saying?
So, and I hear what you're saying. I don't know if, I don't know. It's good. Let's go. Move on.
Wes is a professional husband, and he knows when to move on, and he knows this conversation right here probably is not going exactly the way we had planned it to go.
We didn't plan to go. We just said, come on.
But I'm saying that, yeah, I still probably not the way you wanted it to go. But anyway.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, I didn't have a plan. The only thing I was going to say to that is like, so.
Say it.
You need encouragement in baby steps, kind of like what I just said a few minutes ago. You need that affirmation and encouragement all along the way. I don't. Let me know the big picture. And when it's all done, said and done, bam. That's the glory.
Okay.
I don't need the baby steps in between. But you said you do.
Some spouses do.
Some people.
Some people
Absolutely.
do. Some children do.
And one important thing that I want to make sure everybody heard is when people need that affirmation, that, as you call them, the Debbie Downers or the negative comments or the optimistic view on things, just really brings it down and brings you down. And that's one thing.
Pessimistic. The pessimistic. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. That is something that I work on. I'm not, because I can bring the real in all the time because I'm a processor. So when you say, hey, let's do A, B, and C, I say, that's good. What about A, point 1, point 2, point 3, and then B, point 2, point 4, point 5, because I'm processing, figuring out the kinks, because A, B, and C looks great, but to get from A to C, there's a whole lot in there. So I will question all these things. And what I do is, because I'm a troubleshooter, is I eliminate all the things and talk about all the things that could possibly go wrong so that when we get there, it is smooth sailing. And to a person who needs the affirmation, they look at that as you're tearing down what I'm saying. And then I look at it as, no, I am going to build what you looked for, and I'm going to make sure that it is built correct. And this is the way I'm going to process that. But you don't need all of those, and I can process it in my head and just give you A, B, and C, and tell you how good all these other steps are, and not all the negative stuff, not all the hard part.
That's good.
It's like sewage. If I'm gonna give you some new pipes, I'm not gonna describe what those sewer pipes look like when I took them out. I'm just gonna be like, babe, look at these new pipes I just put in. Look how great they are.
And I prefer that.
Do you know how everything's gonna flow now?
And I prefer that. And I just want to say that the good part about that is that it really, you saying that means a lot to me. It means a lot, and it brings it all home. And I appreciate that about you. And I think that's why we still like each other. But these conversations sometimes can be hard for me because I feel like you missed the part of all that gook that's in the middle. Which brings me to my next point.
Wait. I missed that one. I do what?
That gook in the middle with the pipes. You just choose not to talk about it. And that's what we talk about.
I don't miss it. I don't have to tell you about it. If that's not something that floats you or you need to hear, I have no problem with not mentioning all that part.
Okay.
You can fly past.
So, speaking of gook and stuff, I was just wondering, because I was sharing earlier that we wrote that book, Reboot Your Marriage, and the part you wrote was really great. I mean, he wrote the chapter on communication. That's so funny to me. But I was just wondering, the reason it's funny to me is because I was saying that I'm, what is her name? Charlie the Chatterbox. But I was wondering, what challenges do you really have in your journey that you feel like have grown, like God has grown you, and said, you know what, this was a challenge, but I've overcome this.
I think exactly what I just said a little earlier about me making sure that I'm not bringing the conversation down, bringing up the negatives or the way I say things sometimes or communicate some things, and I'm just really communicating facts, but facts don't always come out right. They don't always sound right, even though that's not the way I meant it. And even though sometimes I absolutely could have said it different. Yeah. Absolutely could have had some more patience with it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, coming back after the fact when, you've seen that area where you're weak and maybe my feelings have gotten hurt, you coming back and saying, you know what, babe, I'm sorry. This episode is really a lot about us just discussing some of the challenges that every couple may face and being transparent about them. And I think that one of the things you don't really say is, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry that I don't.
Why don't you say I'm sorry? People have a theory about Tauruses, the bull, and I'm not about the stars and astrology, and I'm not into that. But somehow, when they talk about those Tauruses, how stubborn they are, sometimes it's just some elements of truth that lie in that kind of shenanigans. Do you understand that?
Sometimes I don't really feel that it was all me. Sometimes I think that you misheard, misunderstood, and just took the whole place into a whole nother place. And somehow it's back on me, and it's my fault. And I just kind of shake my head, ready to move on to the next part of life. Don't always necessarily know that you're waiting for an apology. Something I may or may not disagree with.
Okay. Well, that explains that now, doesn't it?
Sometimes you're guilty of when I have said it. You think I'm patronizing you. And you'd be like, whatever.
That is very true. So couples, don't patronize your spouse. If you're really sorry, say, you know what, I really am sorry. I might not understand exactly everything I did wrong, but I'm sorry that it hurt you. I'm sorry. One of the things Wesley Stringfellow teaches is not so much as how you feel.
No. You're saying the records. It's not necessarily what you meant, but it's how that other person really feels. Whether what you said had completely different alternatives or a different meaning, is how did they make them feel? How did that make them feel? And if they're feeling some kind of way, then you absolutely need to address it.
Okay. So the last few weeks, you've really made me feel some kind of way. I'm just kidding.
Well, you know,
I'm just
I mean, I have a theory on that too, but we don't need to talk about it online unless you want me to.
Yes, go right ahead.
So, this is for you seasoned couples.
Seasoned couples.
There will become spaces and places that have nothing to do with yourself about the way your spouse is responding. They're just in a place sometimes where no matter what you say, it's going to be scrutinized, received wrong, super sensitive about it sometimes. So stuff that you might have been able to say and get past, it's not going to fly now. It's going to just be chopped up, and you're going to get picked up and chewed up and spit back out.
With a machete.
So it's like, sometimes I feel like there's no right I could say except to say nothing. And then that doesn't work out. So sometimes I just feel like I'm just in a hard place in the rock. I don't know what to do.
Well, what did I tell you the other day? What did I tell you today?
I don't know. What'd you say?
Pray for me.
Yeah.
Do you?
That was what you said at the end. There was a whole lot in between.
You know, I do think that, and I do think that hormones have a major play in not just women. Because I want to say something. This is not just a woman-sided thing, because a lot of things of your
Now here's one.
It don't have anything to do with me either.
That's a good point. It is absolutely not always the woman.
Thank you, babe, for saying that.
And this is for the women. Please have grace for your men. Show them the jacket. Show them the jacket. Sometimes you need to have grace for your men.
I have my grace jacket on, though.
Because men go through stuff, too. We get stuck in ruts. We go on an emotional swing. I mean, as men, we may have not had a cycle that really turned our hormones upside down. But if you could put our emotions on a graph, you would see them going up and down through the months, just like everybody else's, just like the women. It may not be as severe. Some are not as emotional. But we do get down. We do get a funk. Men, I mean, how many men do you know who just get into a funk?
I said we do. I was thinking about you do. Oh, but go ahead.
We just get in a funk, and we need our space. And not even our space. We just need some grace.
Some grace and quiet, right?
Well, maybe some need quiet. Maybe some need a kick in the pants and say, come on, get up, we're going to roll. But you need to understand that they're in that place.
This is how we roll.
What song is that?
How we roll.
Are you making that up?
No.
What song is that?
Wes, I don't know who it's by, but this is how we roll. What it is.
Girl, I don't know what you're saying.
How we roll. If y'all are listening to this, I can't.
The words sound familiar. It's just like you're singing it with a different song or something. Uh-oh.
See, I'm going to have to put it on.
Nah, we got to pull it up.
It's by Chris Brown.
Okay. Play it. Let's hear what it sounds like. Oh. See, I don't know that song. Because I don't listen to that worldly music, Neesha. You know why you know that song?
Why?
Because it's probably one of your workout songs.
What it is. How we roll. Anyway.
So where'd you hear that song?
Probably on 1,000 reels that I've watched on Instagram or something.
I'm like, I don't know that song.
No, that's by Chris Brown.
I don't get a chance to listen to the radio.
Oh, it's Sierra and Chris Brown. I don't know. Like the other day I was listening to, my brain is in music. This morning I woke up with, now y'all are going to think this is so off. Me playing Chris Brown and Sierra. Then what came in my mind this morning was, the blood still works. It will never lose its power. The blood still works. I know it works. Okay, I won't go there. The point is that I'm a music person. And so therefore, I'm always going to have a song in my heart. And music sticks to me. And that's something that's key. And I'm going to say this in all the things that we've said today. One of the things that's important to me is, and I'll say this to Wes and I say this to everyone, that when you are starting to feel the prickles of life, and I say prickles like things stabbing at you, poking at you, frustration, sadness, grief, emotional roller coaster rides where you're up today, down tomorrow, and your loved one has to pay the price and listen. It's time to, like I told somebody, go lay on the floor and eat some carpet. What do I mean by that? You know what I mean by that.
I don't, but break it down for the folks.
You do know.
I said I know.
Oh.
Break it down for them.
It's get in the presence of the Lord. Okay? Get in the presence of the Lord. Get in his face. Pick your word up. Read it. You might read your devotional every day. You might pray every day. But honey, sometimes you got to lay on the floor. You got to pray in the spirit. You have to do things that you don't normally do. You have to go let the word speak to you, read to you, talk to you, let it play in the midnight hour, instrumental worship music. Your spirit man needs to hear something else because the enemy is distracting you. And Wes would be like, you need to go pray. Don't you say that to me sometimes? You need to go pray.
You know when I say that?
When
you say, babe, let's pray. And then 20 minutes later, you are deep in. I was like, babe, you have missed some prayer time. And you're trying to get it all in right this second. We just supposed to be praying while I leave out here, go to work.
But the intentionality, though, of being intentional when staying in the presence of the Lord will help a lot of your relational communication barriers or emotional roller coasters. And before you read those, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to do devotion with me, because we've been doing couples devotional, and at the end of every devotional, there's a question. And so it's causing us to have more communication. So maybe the enemy just don't like the fact that we have really been intentional. And let me tell y'all something. The theme of our marriage getaway is first love, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that we would get back to our first love. And with that being said, I thought about this. Like, this is my for real first love. Now, for the marriage getaway, we don't want people to go back to their first love from high school or whatever. We want you to go to first love.
That's not what we're talking about.
That's not what we're talking about. Your first love with Jesus and the first love of when you fall in love with your spouse. But the truth is that I realize that the enemy's going to bring all kind of things to kind of distract my first love and my eyes for love and I'm not in terms of other people, but just with my own personal frustrations and make things unpleasant. And I realize it has been me. So I just want to say I'm sorry. You forgive me.
Mm-hmm. Do I have to say I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
Do I have to?
No, you don't. You don't.
I am sorry.
Oh
my God.
You don't
Pick
know
a card.
You don't know what that means to me.
Pick a card. I hope it's not about apologizing. Pick one for me, too. Just pick it out and put it down on the table. Put it down. All right. We're going to go with whatever it is you say.
All right, here we go, y'all. What do you most remember about our first kiss? I remember you had just got back from Great America, or you were on your way to Great America, and you stopped by my house and you brought me some candy and a teddy bear or something. And you kissed me in the hallway of my mother's house. And that was my first French kiss. And when you did, my stomach did all kind of prickles. And I kept replaying it in my head over and over again because, wow, that was the softest kiss I've ever had in my whole life. Probably the only kiss. But it was great. I remember things about our first everything. What do you remember about our first kiss?
That kiss right there, I remember thinking about it and planning it. It wasn't just girl, come on now.
I didn't know you had game like that.
It's like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring this here and I'm going to get this here. And before I leave, I'm going to be like, bam.
Well, you bammed it. Thank you. All right, what's your question?
All righty. What would you most like to accomplish in the next 12 months? What wins would you like?
Come on, it brings it all the way full circle.
What would you most like to accomplish in the next 12 months? So, the business venture that we are currently working on,
Okay.
I'd like it to be duplicated
In Jesus' name.
by, what's today's date? June 28th,
Mm-hmm.
that we are actually speaking. I would like it to be duplicated at least 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times by then.
Wow, that's a big goal.
It's not that big.
Get ready
It's
to
very
work.
reasonable. And I was being very modest. But that is my plan.
Get ready to work, Neesha.
What you gotta do?
I don't know. I just feel like I got to work. Go ahead. What are my next goals in the next 12 months? I really just want to relax. I really kind of want to just be able to enjoy a few vacations, surprise you a couple times. And I'd like to put money in my grandchildren's bank accounts, their credit union accounts. I'm about to open all of them a credit union account, and with the Israel Methcom Federal Credit Union that my grandfather started 61 years ago. If you're connected, please reach out to me if you want to open an account. And I want to watch it grow. I want to be the lender, come on somebody, and not the borrower. I want to be the head, come on somebody, and not the tail. I want to be above and not beneath. I want to be I want to be like Jesus. Hallelujah. Glory to God. I want him to be proud of me and say, well done, thou good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over few things. Now I'm going to make you ruler over many. I want to employ people in the next 12 months. I want to, and I don't want, come on, you can't ask me because I will go on a roll. I want to fall in love with you more and more every day, especially on the Heartstrings Podcast. See y'all later, everybody.
Good night. Or good day.
Or wherever you are.